My water off the bed, sweetie. Hi guys, happy Friday. Hope you guys are having a good day. I wanted to show you how to make homemade kombucha. So I got a lot of questions about this, and a lot of people have no clue what kombucha is, but basically it's a very good drink. It's loaded with probiotics, and it can be expensive if you buy it in the store, so making it at home is really easy, and it's super affordable with ingredients you can get at your grocery store. So I'm going to show you how to make that. Thank you, sweetie. Raise your hand if you've ever tried kombucha or you know what it is. Kombucha basically is a fermented tea. So when you take good bacteria and you put them in your body, it fights off the bad bacteria, which helps keep you from getting sick. It can help you lose weight, helps you detox. There's just tons of benefits. So all you need to make your own kombucha is some tea. You want to get on a black tea. Some people mix black and green. Some people do just green. I have found that doing just green tea makes it a little bit more bitter. So some people might like that. We like the black tea, so you can get, it's just a big box of organic black tea. I think it was like $3.98 for 100. And I only use 12 tea bags every time, so that's literally how much it cost me. And a little bit of sugar, but you're gonna get some tea, and we've got sugar. So we're not big sugar users in this house, but when you ferment it, the kombucha actually, or the Scoby actually eats the sugar. So you're not going to be consuming a lot of the sugar. It's going to be used to grow the good bacteria. So you can get, organic sugar at Aldi's. Just get the raw. Don't get the processed stuff. And then what I have here is a big glass container. I got this one, I think, from Target. Walmart has them. This is a gallon. So that's how much kombucha I make at a time. And so what I've done is I've put 8 cups of cold water. You don't want to use tap water. Tap water has tons of chemicals added to it that will not allow your Scoby or your kombucha to grow. So get some good water. If you don't have a filter, our local co-op has water that we just take our jugs and fill them up. So I've got 8 cups of cold water. Then I've got, and my timer's going off. So what I have done right before this video is I've taken 12 bags of my black tea. I've boiled another 8 cups of water, and I've been soaking these tea bags for 10 minutes. So basically you're just making a bunch of tea at one time. I soak them for 10 minutes, and make sure when you're doing this that your hands are really clean, because you're going to be touching, it can really affect your bacteria that you want. So I'm just going to take my tea bags out. Then I'm going to take my 8 cups of hot water with it's already brewed tea in here. I'm going to add it to the cold water. And if you have a big enough pot, you could theoretically just boil 16 cups and then add your tea bags and do it that way. Doing it this way makes it cool off faster, because you actually can't start the process till it's cooled off. So I just like to do half and half. That way I can give it, the cold water helps the hot water cool off a little bit. So then what we're going to do next is we're going to add some sugar. And I like to do, you can try, everybody uses between a cup and a cup and a half to a gallon. I've tried both, and since we sweeten ours with fruit, I usually do like a cup and a quarter. I found that a cup was just a little too bitter, and well, it's kind of stuck in here, and a cup and a half was just too sweet. I felt like I was getting way too much sugar. So just kind of play around with it. But I'm going to add a cup and a quarter, if my sugar will loosen up here. And then I'm going to show you guys the Scoby, which makes the magic happen. So I've got a cup. So then I just mix it up. So it's very similar to making, normal tea. So I'm just kind of let that mix up a little bit. And then I'm going to let this sit. I will cover it with some organic this is, I think it's called cheesecloth. You can get it on Amazon or wherever. You don't want to cover it with a paper towel because a lot of the chemicals in the paper towels can actually leach and cause problems with your kombucha. So just get some organic cheesecloth. And it comes in a huge piece, so you can just cut off a little corner and you can use it for a lot of different things. This did come with a lid, but you don't want to completely enclose it because it needs air to grow. So I'm just going to cover it once we put it in. I've got a little hair tie. You could use a rubber band and seal it like that. But I usually just kind of set the cover on while it's cooling off so that way nothing makes its way inside. And then the only other thing I have to do is once this cools off, depending on how cold or warm it is in your house, like an hour or 2 hours, you want it to be not cold, but you know, room temperature. Then I'm going to take my Scoby. So Scoby, and you definitely want to make sure your hands are clean for this part, and I washed mine right before. But a Scoby, try to show it to you guys. It looks kind of gross, but it is basically this layer of good bacteria. It's like a cultured yeast that's good for you. So this thing actually grows. This is one of my Scobies. Every time you make a batch of kombucha, you will get another Scoby layer on top of it. So if you're kind of wondering, well, how do I get a Scoby to get started? If you're local to me, I pretty much always have extra in my fridge, so I can give you one for free. There's a lot of people that do kombucha that would be happy to share their Scoby because they have so many of them. If you cannot find anyone local to you, you can always order online. But so what I have done is I've got my Scoby with about a cup of my kombucha I made last time. And when someone gives you a Scoby, they'll usually give you a cup of the kombucha. So all I'm going to do is when this cools off, I'm going to pour the Scoby with the 1 cup of previously made kombucha into here and let it sit. So temperature kind of depends time. They usually say about a week. During the winter, I felt like mine was more like 8 days, 9 days. During the heat of the summer, and with how not cool we keep our house, it might be done in like 5 days. So I'm going to do a video. If we make it to next Friday, I'll do a video next Friday. If it's ready earlier, I'm going to do a video earlier, and I'll show you guys how the next step to flavoring the kombucha. But after this is done, we can just drink it as is after it ferments. But flavoring it's more fun. So super easy way to start. Again, the recipe is 16 cups of water, 12 tea bags, 1 1/4 cups of sugar. So, and that makes a gallon of kombucha. One of the only things you need to know is about it fermenting. Once you pour the Scoby in, it will sink to the bottom. You want to cover this, stick it in a place that's not going to be touched for like a week. Don't stick it directly in the sun, and don't keep looking at it to mess with it, because I know that when I first did it, I kept pulling out the jar to look at it because I was so curious about it. Let it sit there for a week. What I did to let the girls look and see what was going on was get a flashlight and just kind of hold it up to the jar so they could see. What you'll see is the Scoby will actually start to float to the top, and you'll see all these string things hanging down, which is like the bacteria just growing and fermenting. And then eventually when it's ready, the Scoby will be right at the top, like a perfect ring around the top, and we'll pull it out. So and it will turn a lighter brown color. So now it's kind of a, I don't know if you can see, the lighting might not be the best, but see the difference between the previously made light brown kombucha and this one's, you know, still kind of a dark. So it'll get a lot lighter. And then if you're kind of, I don't know if it would be anal or whatever it is like me, I like to just know exactly that something is ready. You can get these cheap little pH test strips and dip it in, and the best pH for kombucha is between 2.5 and 3.5, and they just have like a little chart, you know, you hold it up to and test the color. So I've done that a few times, but now once you kind of start doing it, you'll know what to look for. And then we're also going to taste it next week and see how it is. So hope that info was helpful, and I will see you next week on how to flavor it. If you guys have any questions about this, or you want to get a Scoby from me, message me and let me know. So thanks guys for watching. Have a good weekend. Bye.